there, welcome back to the channel. My name is Carrie with bluescitypickin, and if you are new here, I am a part-time reseller that goes out to thrift stores, estate sales, yard sales, and attempts to buy things to flip for a profit on eBay. So we have Ching number 14. It's hard to believe we're already at number 14. For the week of November the December 1st. So this is after Thanksgiving, and better week this week post Thanksgiving. My store has woken up from vacation mode, which is nice. I had 32 things that I sold. Gross sales, including shipping and taxes, was $1,092. The purchase price of all of those items was $326.14, and I had a gross profit of $364.40. You will see that I did have a high dollar item in here sell, but I had paid a lot for it because it was something that I thought my husband would like, and then he decided that he did not, and I could not return it. So I was happy to just get that moved out. So all in all, my average sales price, excluding taxes and shipping, was $25.54, and my average gross profit was $11.39. But like I said, I had that one really expensive item that I made very, very little on, but I was just happy to get my money back. And then I had several low dollar, low profit sales, but they were once again old. You will see the average days on platform for this particular week was 95 days, which is well above my normal average. So I was very happy to get some of the old stuff out. I lost money on one thing, and then I made $63 on another thing. I sold something in right away in 0 days, and then I had one item that took 286 days to sell. So better week, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the details of the sales. So first thing that sold was this set of 4 new in package Angelina tights. I got these out of my ThredUp Kids discount box. So I have about $1 into them. They sold for $10.20. And when I tell you that's what they sold for, that is excluding shipping and taxes. Bought them for $1 from ThredUp, and my gross profit was $7.60. Next is this Corvette mug. I picked this up thinking I might give it to my dad for Christmas, but I found him something better. I paid $1.99 for this at a Goodwill. Sold it for $12, profited $6.70, and it was in the store for 92 days. Next up is this mini backpack from JanSport. Very cute. I did pay $8.99 for this at a Goodwill back in August. It sold for $24.61, so I profited $10.07 after 119 days. Next up is this salt and pepper shakers from Lennox. I paid $1 for these at one of my local thrift stores. They sold for $8.46, and I made $6.63 in profit after 119 days. Next up is a pair of Ariat clogs. You may have seen this in one of my shorts. I picked these up at Goodwill for $9.44. And they sold for $28.90, and I made $15.18 after 34 days. Next item is a sack. It was a pebbled leather black purse. I had it marked as a crossbody. The strap was not super long, so I did get feedback from the customer that they were not happy that the strap wasn't long and it would only fit a toddler. That's not true. I could wear it as a crossbody, and I am not small. So I told them they could return it if they chose to keep it. So now I'm just waiting to see if I get negative or neutral feedback, because they're not happy and I wouldn't give them just a partial refund. So anyway, I paid $8.99 for this at a Goodwill, sold for $22.91. and I made $11.40 after 26 days. Next up is another pair of salt and pepper shakers. I got this out of an estate sale auction lot back in May. I paid $1 for them, sold for $9.11, profited $4.26 after 181 days. Next up is that item. It is a Lego set. It's the Hobbit Dol Guldur Battle. It was new, it was sealed, it was retired. The buyer paid $200 for this. I did pay $180 for it though. So I ended up profiting $14.55. I bought it back in April. It was only listed for 16 days though, because I had kind of been sitting on it while he made up his mind, but happy to get my money back and that it is gone. Next up is this vintage Barbie Super Talking flip phone. It did work. I paid 50 cents for this at a yard sale. Sold for $12.74, and I made $10.09 after just 2 weeks. Next up is this Micro Machines lot of 16. It was planes, trucks, boats, military. This came out of that large whatnot buy that I had of little weapons and stuff like that. You will hear me continue to talk about that because I continue to sell good things out of there. This sold for $29.74. I had $1 into it, so I made $24.53 in just a day after it was listed. Next up is this vintage Lego Duplo toddler. It was like a little train case, and it was almost complete. It was missing one block. I paid $2.07 for this at my local thrift store. It sold for $20.36, and I made $12.62 in just 51 days. Next up is one of my better sales of the week. This is the second time I've sold this, and I sure hope it does not get returned again. This is a vintage LL Bean chore coat. It has the removable flannel fleece liner. It sold for $84.15. I paid $5 for this at a yard sale. I profited $63.60 in 36 days. And I think that might have been from the second time it was listed, but I'm not sure. Next up is this vintage Whitman nativity manger scene. This was like a punch out paper scene. Came from a whatnot lot, so I have $1 into this. It sold for $15, and I profited $9.93 in 0 days. Next item is this set of 2 wallpaper borders. I bought these at an estate sale back in August for 50 cents. They sold for $16.11, and I profited $12.75 in 103 days. Don't sleep on wallpaper borders, especially if they're new. The big thing to be able to do is you need to be able to know what the pattern is and then what the run is, because that way the buyer knows that it's consistent. So both of these came from the same run, so you get less variation in the print. Next item is a set of 2 handmade pottery mugs that I bought at an estate sale back in November. I paid $2 for these. I was trying to wake my store back up, so I accepted an offer for $10. I made $5.96 after just 2 days listed. Next up is this vintage crewel needlework. It was from the Valiant brand. I have $1 into this. I picked it up at an estate sale in November. It was the one that was so good I had to go back twice. If you have not watched that video, I will link it here. That was an amazing estate sale, especially on the last day when everything was 75% off. I love vintage stitching, and so I snagged this. It sold for $9.99. I made $7.30 in 0 days. It sold the day it was listed. Next up is this Coach handbag. I got this out of a ThredUp box. I paid $25 a bag for each of them. This is the last one out of that box. I am once again happy to get my money back. It was sold for $26.69. I lost $2.92 after 191 days. Next up, another item from that estate sale where everything was 75% off the last day. This was a new vintage Paragon Americana Needlecraft quilt set. It was for a double bed. I sold this for $32.29. I paid $5 for it. I profited $22.47 in just one day. Next item is the canister, like the actual vacuum part of an Auric XL that I purchased at a local thrift store. I bought the vacuum and a whole bunch of pieces and parts for like $12 at the thrift store. I've already sold multiples of the attachments. I sold the canister for $20. I paid $8, or I put $8 on the canister, and I've made $7 in 96 days. Next up, I sold 2 of these. They are table runners. They were handmade, holly berries leaves. They were green, very long, so 95 inches by 17 inches. And then I think the other one was 98 by 17. I sold each one of them for $22.07, and I made $17.71 on each one after 136 days. Next item is another one from the Whatnot sale. This was a Caveman Warrior. I have no idea what this is from. It was from 1987. I have $1 into it. I sold it for $7.23, and I made $4.75 in just 4 days. Next item is a corduroy blazer from the brand Chelsea and Theodore. It was a really pretty maroon color. I picked this up last spring for $6.99 at Goodwill. It sold for $17 and I only made $5.89. But after 197 days, she is gone. Next up is a set of new emos. They are new with tag Disney Park new emos. Nick and Judy Hopps. I paid $13.50 for both of these off of a retail arbitrage. They sold for $14.42, and I made a whopping 51 cents on them after 191 days, but they are gone, and I got my money back, so I'm happy about that. Next up is this lot of 3 Beatrix Potter Peter Rabbit prints. I think they were $3.99 each, so I'm about $12 in for all 3 of them. They sold for $42.45, and I made $20.90 after 32 days. They were so cute. I could not leave them, but they were a pain in the butt to pack. But $20 profit on it. I'm happy with that. Next up is this Sonic the Hedgehog Jet the Hawk RC remote control. I paid $9.99 for this at Goodwill back in July. It sold for $24.61, and I made $8.74 in 139 days. Next item is this lot of, it was 5 pieces. It's a vintage wooden toy plane and train set from Montgomery Schoolhouse. I have 0 into this. This was in a large estate sale buy back in May. I made $10.16, or they paid $10.16, and I made $6.64 after 185 days. Next up is a pair of True Religion linen pants. They were size 29. I paid $6.99 for these. They sold for $24.40. I made $12.72, and after 213 days, I am glad they are gone. Next up is this vintage Aladdin Stanley thermos. It was like brand new. I did pay $6 for this at an estate sale back in August, and the buyer paid $15.34, and I made $5.14 after 116 days. One of those things that I would not pick up again. Next item is this cashmere scarf. I paid $3 each for I think 3 or 4 scarves at an estate sale back in August. This was one of the ones that was not worth as much. I did find one that is like alpaca and is worth like $30 or $40. So I'm not too bent out of shape that I only got $10 for this one. And I made $5.17 after 114 days. Next up is, I believe, the very last of my Justin Bieber folder lot that I picked up at Goodwill back in May. Picked up a stack of Justin Bieber folders and a few One Direction folders for like $4. And I've been selling them off in lots. This was 4 of them. The buyer paid $7.57 and I made $4.70 after 196 days. Don't sleep on the beebs, y'all. And then last but not least is a vintage Spode Christmas tree Tom and Jerry mug. I picked up about 10 of these from Goodwill back in February of this year. So I've had them quite a while. I think I have 4 left. I paid $2.79 each for them. This one sold for $6.67 and I made $4, but it took 286 days to sell. Yowza. All in all, happy with the performance that particular week, waking up off of vacation mode. This week is going even better. Got rid of a lot of older things that I have learned my lesson on that I will not buy again. So happy with that. If you like this kind of content, give me a like and a subscribe and comment down below with a happy face emoji, and I would appreciate that. And until next time, I appreciate you watching. Thanks. Bye.